the carburetor is not exactly properly set up. She's had a few issues for quite some time, and I've never really been able to get it to idle or really run very well. So this video is more so kind of showing all the stuff I did trying to make this thing run right. We went through and did a few somewhat interesting things. We drilled out the butterflies, trying to see if we can get a little more air through it, see if that would fix our problems. And it really helped out. And I'll kind of show a little more later on the sound, the idling of it. It ran a lot better, but she's still not quite right. But I will tell you this much. This car has a lot of horsepower. Driving it down the road, this thing makes way more power than I was planning on, and it's kind of terrifying. So we went through, and just to kind of explain, we went through, cleared everything out, cleaned everything out of this carburetor. I've rebuilt this thing probably 3 times. It's a Demon, likely 650 with vacuum secondaries. We've tried to learn a little bit about it, and everything I've learned goes back and forth. Originally, I heard I had seen information saying it might be a 725, it might be a 550. It's really hard to say. This is, of course, this is pre-Holly, when Demon was the Barry Grant company, the Barry Grant Demons. So it's one of those carburetors that there's not a lot of information about. But we went through, I rebuilt it, obviously rebuilt it another time, did a bunch of small fixes. I used to run it on a different intake manifold, and we found out that intake was probably warped and leaking. Threw a new one on there, I can't even remember the brand. We threw this intake on there, and it's running way better, a lot stronger. It actually has enough horsepower. This thing will spin the tires leaving the driveway on accident, like tapping the throttle. It spins tires. But either way. And then, I have not seen too many people that do this, but looking at how I'd want to drill this, I think I'm probably going to drill this edge, which is this back edge here, so right in the middle of the 5. So I'm probably going to drill it, and then I will make sure I'll get the measurements and everything. So let me grab my drill, which is not the nicest drill you'll ever see, considering I've had it for a long time. If you're gonna have a drill, make sure it's the definitely broken, really shouldn't use it anymore, and it's kind of a safety hazard drill. That's the right drill. Tell the salesman that's what you're after when you're in the store. The broken one that's probably going to burn your house down. That's the one you're after. So we're going to start off the smallest size I got, which this is a 1/16 drill bit. I don't even know if this chuck can actually grip onto this thing because it's such a ridiculously small drill bit. Well, it's in there, so call that good enough. And then I'm gonna go right about there is gonna be my hole. Well, it didn't break, so I'm gonna call that good enough. Put that in drill. Solid. Okay. So we got a little bit of burrs on the back of here. We're going to want to clean those up. You don't want burrs, metal pieces flying down into your engine when you're trying to rev this thing up. Probably the wrong method to use, but it's the one that I have currently. That really did not take that burr out much at all. Alright, we got all 4 carburetor butterflies, got holes drilled into them.
finally put back together. That was a giant pain because I had a broken screw. So let's get everything reconnected real quick. Looks about as good as she's gonna get. Let's fuel her up, let's see what happens. Definitely wanted a little bit higher idle. Just a little bit more. Interesting. Why don't let's reset this real quick. Half, one. Let's go one turn out on everything and just see how that goes. See if it likes one or if it wants more. One. Everything around at one. Half, one. The other thing I could do is loosen the screws up on the choke valve and turn the choke up. So we're at one on everything. Choke is fully hooked up. Yeah, she's fully closed right now. I guess see what happens if we try it again. Next step is to add a little bit more on idle screw. Maybe a little bit more on secondary screw. For this, let's give it just a scotch more on cold idle. Let me see it. That's weird. It really did not like that. Let's run that back. We might have to give it a little bit more on this side. Let's see. Might be a good idea to make it a little more rich. Let's loosen these off just a scooch. Here. Give it that much more. It might be too much. It might not like it. but at the very least going a little bit more aggressive on this. And you know what I'll do? I'll also probably put another half turn out on all these screws. So we'll be at a full 1.5 turns out, just to richen it up a little bit. I'm wondering if she's getting a little bit lean. And if I really have to, I can probably go and add just a scotch more on the secondary side. A little scotch.
So as you can tell, it still has a few issues with it, and we have a lot more things that need to be worked on regarding the carburetor. I'm pretty certain that either the primary metering block has some kind of major issue with it, some kind of blockage that I have not been able to find. Could be an issue with the metering plate being warped. Everything I've been able to test on it, it seems like it's fine, but not sure. Unfortunately, it got pretty cold after this, and we had a few major family issues going on. So we haven't had too much of a chance to mess with it after all this. I did get a setting later on, without the cameras being on while I was kind of playing around with it, that I didn't get a chance to record. But currently, it actually idles pretty good. It'll run down to about 800 RPM and idle there just fine. It starts up pretty much every time we crank it over. I've had almost no issues, but the problem it does have is it requires you to basically completely turn off the primary idle mixture screws in order for the carburetor to run correctly. And it still has an issue where if you're trying to go and lightly give it throttle, it hesitates a bit. I'm not sure exactly what that is. It could very easily be we don't have enough booster, we don't have enough fuel in the actual booster reservoir, the little reservoir on the bottom of the carburetor. Don't know. Looking down it, we can see fuel's getting sprayed down. We just don't know exactly what's going on with it. So, either way, just wanted to put something out and kind of show what's going on with this car, because to me it's my favorite car that I own right now, even though I own a lot. But, yeah, we'll be getting back to it pretty quickly.
Something's not right. She ain't happy.